Today is January 30th, and today is a milestone. Today is 7 weeks and a day on testosterone, so I officially have completely had a full, even the 24 hours of the last day, a full 7 weeks on testosterone. Um, and admittedly, I already had, I didn't start from testosterone 20 because of the way that I was born. I started, um, from the late 100s, 180 or so. So, you know, um, sorry, I ate some cereal earlier and I scratched the back of my throat, so every once in a while I cough. Anyway, but still, I've been on testosterone. Today marks 6 weeks ish not being depressed, which is really amazing. Again, I'm so sorry for everyone who doesn't have a magical cure for depression. But also, I went 36 full years and then some being just obliteratingly depressed. So, um, I deserve not to have to be depressed for the rest of my life. I'm glad I'm not depressed for the rest of my life. Today is also the 100th episode of my trans vlog. I can't believe I have been recording it this long and this much or whatever. It's so weird. I started recording way before I ever started taking testosterone. I started recording, unfortunately, after I didn't have the guts to record before I started letting the body hair and the facial hair and everything grow out. Um, I hadn't accepted myself enough. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to transition or accept needing to transition despite what doctors were telling me. Um, but I'd put in the work. And 100 episodes later, I'm just so much happier. I was so miserable. A lot of those earlier episodes, I'm just crying and depressed and going on and on. Oh my gosh, the episodes for the first half or so were a lot longer for the most part than episodes now are. Episodes now are 40 minutes max, half an hour max, whatever. Dude, some of those episodes are really long. Um, it's kind of impressive. It hasn't been an actual year technically since I started recording and stuff, but it has been more than a year since I started accepting that I probably need to accept myself. At this point, a year ago, on January 30th, a year ago, I had started exercising. I was exploring the idea of stopping with the whole non binary, androgynous term, non gender, and accepting that I was never actually a lesbian, that I was just a boy, and I was forced to be raised a girl, and how psychologically damaging that was, even besides everything else that happened when I was growing up, that it's so damaging to take a kid who can recognize themselves in the mirror and actively punish them for acting like that person. It it just really 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 messed me up into my adulthood, and accepting how much ignorance not just my parents had or people had in general when I was younger, but I had about, transitioning and, intersex issues and trans issues. And, even as someone who had been part of the LGBT plus community for, decades, it still was very daunting to apply that to myself. I mean, a year ago, I wasn't even to the point of accepting letting my body hair grow out yet. I was still trying to get comfortable with that. Because I was still so very much buried under shame and condemnation from a lifetime of being called a monster and a sinner and evil and everything else just for existing and being born different and not getting a choice in the matter and still being punished for it. And like it's been very helpful for me to make these. I've never had a ton of views. I probably never will have a ton of views. The point is that it's there for me to document my thoughts and my feelings and my realizations and my coming to terms with things and my learning and growing and progressing. Um, if anyone watching this is considering transitioning or was born intersex or doesn't know or is whatever scared of just being yourself, just accepting yourself, just I highly recommend journaling or documenting or taking pictures or whatever you need to do to help yourself remember where you came from as you're making progress. Because I can't even believe how much happier I am, and I still don't pass. Like I still haven't had a single surgery. I haven't even been on testosterone 6 months. Like, and I'm just so much happier. But even besides being so much happier, a lot has changed in good ways, just in my own habits and the way I think about things. Um, it's a lot more less. It's a lot less abysmal. Um, I have had some other milestones. So last time I was like, "Hey, my period isn't coming. This seems awfully early for that." Um, it just never came. So yay! I have no more period for the rest of my life. Hopefully, that is a huge thing. That was something that was extremely degrading for me every month. It was not good for my mental health at all. It was not good for my body at all. Um, it was a very unfortunate thing. Um, I did actually talk to someone educated about it and basically was told that since I am 36 years old, and I had not started premenopause, the thing before premenopause, um, where your eggs are starting to dry up and all that jazz. That that comes a little earlier in my family. Um, I started that like 28ish or whatever. So, um, they, basically it was explained to me that the reason it might be happening this soon after I started taking tea, is partially maybe because I am part boy, like physically, but also it literally could just be my age and that the reproductive system was starting to shut down anyway. And so it's not really surprising necessarily. A lot of the people who it takes, a little while of being on testosterone, they're younger. Their reproductive system is still young. Is the way it was explained to me. So it might have something to do with my internal stuff, and it might have nothing to do with it, and literally just be my age. So, um, a lot of unfortunate things about transitioning this late in life, but I guess that's one good one or whatever. If you're watching this and you're considering transitioning and you're not a teenager or in your early 20s, something to know or to take note of, as a possibility is your period might go away a lot faster just because age helps with that. Um, Another milestone is the girlfriend is back with us, and she hasn't seen me like except on Skype for like a month. And she was like, "Oh, you have all these little hairs everywhere," and so in my face. So I am definitely growing more facial hair and body hair. She was like, "Oh, your happy trail is getting so thick and dark." And I was like, "Oh, is it? I thought it looked the same, as always, but I guess it's so gradual and I've always had so much body hair and I had to shave it all so much that it it wasn't really a noticeable thing to me, but to her it was like, "Oh wow, look at this, look at this." So that was kind of um interesting. And again, I'm getting a lot of this stuff early. I've only been on testosterone for 7 weeks. Like that's it. And I am just flourishing on it. But again, when three different doctors tell you, you go for a second opinion, then you go for a third opinion, and they all are exactly in unison, yeah, do this. This will improve your quality of life drastically. You know, you just think that they have to be exaggerating. It can't be that easy. It can't. Life has been so freaking hard. It can't be that magically resolvable, and sometimes apparently things are that easy to resolve. And I'm not saying any of this has been easy. I mean, we're to 100 episodes and I've only been on transitioning on testosterone for 7 weeks out of 100 episodes. It's not been an easy process by any means. And yet compared to the rest of my life, and compared to everything I went through when I was younger, especially, and all the stuff with my family and the abuse and all of the suicide attempts and the constant torture, like comparatively, this has been easy compared to all of that craziness. Um, and it's just m- very difficult to adjust to just how good life can be when you've spent more than 3 decades living in utter and absolute misery. It's definitely an adjustment. I would not say I'm like used to it, but I am getting more used to it, however you want to say that. Um like it's a big thing. It really is. Um Also, despite having weird anatomy and not having a hood or an opening for, a little clip bean to poke out or anything like that, when I was born. Um, I do have a nub trying to go, and like I said, it's trying to go sideways, but it is definitely trying. And like, the girlfriend was actually very impressed considering I had nothing before. So as far as bottom growth goes, it's still disappointing, but I don't know, it helps a little bit to have somebody talk about it in a positive way or something. Um, Appreciate it, I guess. I don't know. It helps you appreciate it when someone else does, however you want to say that. So I'm trying to be more patient with that my body was born weird. Um, Milestones. I'm trying to just accept myself more, which is funny to say because I've spent, you know, the last 100 episodes trying to accept myself more, but whatever. Um, Also, the little thing going on with my throat and the ever so slight like deepening in my voice has not gone away. So that may also be a milestone. I don't know, but other people that I have asked, I'll say that they can hear it. Um, I'm not complaining. I would very much love for my voice to deepen, and I would also very much love for stuff to move forward just in general with everything. Look into getting some legal stuff done. Um, and hopefully that'll open the doors for me to be able to get my name changed despite the pandemic. Um, Obviously, I would freak out if I could get my name changed. That would be massive milestone. Um, but yeah, I have man smell for sure now, and despite the zits and the oil and stuff, I have not noticed any hair loss. Let's hope that continues. No balding. But even though I do have more little blonde hairs growing in, girlfriend said that she can see more bone in my facial structure. I don't know about that. I don't pay attention to things like that because I don't look at my face enough to notice things like that. But who knows? Maybe some one viewing can tell something like that. I don't know. But yeah, overall, just really good positive changes. I apparently have gained 9 pounds of muscle. So that's something. I've been eating better and I've been exercising more, and I gained 9 pounds. And I was like, I've been eating vegetables and fruit. Why am I gaining so much weight? I took, you know, I didn't eat ice cream for like over a month. I didn't, eat any sweets or sugars or candies or whatever, stuff like that. I was like, holy crap, but it's not that. I definitely am stronger. I tested today and tried to do something that I had been trying to do for a couple of years now that I wasn't strong enough to do, and I could do it. I definitely have muscle going on, so that's nice. I have always liked feeling stronger. Have always craved being stronger physically. So that's a huge relief for me. I also have had soreness in weird places. I've had some soreness right in the back of my neck where it connects to like my shoulders, and then these have been protruding up more. These two muscles right here that come down from my neck, and I definitely have lost a little weight off my hips, and seem to have get it like moved from my hips upward up my body. But I've definitely lost a little weight off my hips. And again, this is 7 weeks on testosterone. I did not think I would see any of this stuff this fast. I genuinely did not. So I'm pretty happy about all of that. But again, I've always fed off testosterone. That's the way my hormones work. So I don't know how much of it is just me. Sorry if you can hear noise in the background. The girlfriend is walking around. Um, but I don't know how much of it is just the way I was born and how much of it is just the testosterone. I don't know. But definitely none of it seems to be turning into estrogen or anything like that. I would be curious what my hormone levels really actually are, because my body's loving it for real. So yeah. I can't even like hardly recognize the person who was in a lot of these earlier videos, who was me, who was so miserable and crying and stuff like that. Like, I just don't feel that way at all. And I can remember, and at the same time it feels distant somehow. And that seems strange to me as well, for how quick all of this has been and for how short a time all of this has been. It was not that long ago that I was a completely depressed, miserable person. Um, and yet it feels like I'm moving away from that. And I didn't think that would happen that quick either. But I'm embracing it. I'm embracing all of this. And Again, if you are super depressed and you're trans, or even if you're not trans, if you're just super depressed, check your hormones. Um, Not all depression is caused by hormone imbalance. There is absolute validity in needing medication to help with your depression because it's, not about hormones at all. It's in your brain. That's completely and totally valid. But if there's a chance that it's a hormone imbalance, please, please, just get it checked. It's just one thing to check that might resolve something that's so awful. I am blown away by the difference it's made in my life and by how simple it was to find out that that was the problem when I went my entire life without knowing. And even if you're scared of doctors, I was terrified of doctors my entire life, terrified of doctors, like to the point where I couldn't even hardly breathe and would curl up in myself and just do it anyway. Because if there's a chance that it's your hormones and that your hormones are the thing that is completely out of whack, especially if you were born intersex, apparently it's pretty common. Just check your hormones, um, and see if they're out of whack. Anywho, having a healthy level of hormones for me is having high testosterone, and it is working like a charm. And science was correct. Good job, science. Science doesn't care whether you believe it or not. Science is going to work anyway. Gravity doesn't care if you believe in it. You're still going to get pulled down. Um, good job. um, Saved my life, changed my life, gave me a life. Thank you, science, for that. And thank you, me. I have put in so much work and so many hours, and I have strived, and all while taking care of other people and being there for other people and not having the availability to just only think about myself. I am very proud of myself, like genuinely. And thank you to the people who have been supportive, and to the people who have been there for me, and yeah, to the family that didn't disown me for publicly stating that I was intersex and that I was a boy the entire time. Um, Thank you, even just to whoever it is who watches these, um, and for listening, and maybe even growing with me while I'm growing a lot. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Who knows? Maybe I'll get to video 200 someday. Actually, that's very likely. It's probably going to get further than that, actually, considering how long the wait times are for surgeries. But, 100 down, however many to go. We can do this. Milestones. It feels good to have a bunch of them instead of ever so trepidatiously stepping forward into the very first step. I'm glad I kept stepping.